Hello, Mark, this time.
Leah. Yeah. How are you?
What were you doing? Hey, firstly...
I'm just looking over Hot Water Beach at the moment, so
beautiful.
I'm good. Yeah.
You live in some paradise, that's for sure. What's the name of your dog, Mark?
Awa.
Awa.
River.
Is it
Awa.
because
Anyway,
you're
good boy.
next? Is it because you're next to the river? No, you're next to the beach.
He's a river dog. I mean, and he was destined to be because I live by a river right below the house, and of course we look straight over Hot Water Beach. So he's very much a sea dog. He's actually a surfer. I fire the ball out into the surf, and he comes back in on a wave. He's cool. Yeah.
I follow you on. I follow you on social media, Mark, and I've seen Awa a lot, and watched Awa grow up to a very beautiful dog, and very well trained. I'm not surprised.
He's right here. He's hugging into me now.
Is he? Daddy, why are you talking about me?
Smooch, yeah. There's lots of oxytocin flowing right now. Yeah.
Well, I want to talk about that, but before we get to that, obviously the listeners are familiar with you, Mark, but for those that, I don't know, I've been under a rock or something, you've trained many variety of animals for TV, movies, commercial work. Right. And we always, when I think about you, we think about Hercules, which was the bugger dog on the
bugger dog.
The bugger dog on the Toyota, was it? Toyota ad.
Bugger dog, Toyota ad. He's still on the bugger ad at the moment.
He's
at the Toyota ad. Even 20, I think we shot that 25 years ago or something.
What?
I can't remember, 20 years ago.
It's been that long.
It was, I think he's won 17 international awards, including Australia Dog of the Year.
Oh,
but, he was a great dog.
He was a great dog. Mark, are you still doing that? Are you still training animals for telly and commercials and movies and things?
Yeah, I do. The rest of my team's doing more of the movie work now. But my main stuff, I'm writing a book called Cat's In at the moment. It's my fourth book. I teach, I do TV, I do that type of stuff more now. But we still train lots of different animals. I'm working with cats at the moment, and as I said, writing a cat book. So, and I know Rosie's just done a cat ad too. So yeah.
Oh, good.
It's good. Yeah, we love our animals.
I know you do. So your company your company's called Dogs In? Is that correct?
Yeah, Dogs In. We changed it. It used to be called Animals on Cue. When we were most focused on film. And now it's called Dogs In because most of our, we've got 3 virtual schools, online schools, all video based, and so most of my books and my TV shows that I've done over the years point forward into that training school. That's really where all of my knowledge and skills kind of manifest in a way that people can use them in an effective way to raise their puppies and their kittens and their. So that's a big focus, and of course the dog bond is a big part. When you're an animal trainer, and it's not just dogs because I train lots of things, wolves, and lions, and whatever. But you must have a bond with the animal you work with.
Well,
So
that's
your
what I want
first step is to join.
To join that, they need to. Well, basically, that's what I want to talk about, Mark, with bonding. And I saw an interesting interview with you. That why is the bond between humans and dogs, so strong?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not so strong. It's special because there's no other species. Even the primates, the gorillas and orangutans and chimps, you'd think that they'd have a closer relationship with us because we're so closely related genetically to them. But we're still very closely related to wolves and other mammals as well. So all of our bonding system is the same in the sense that oxytocin is the primary hormone that stimulates the love hormone that stimulates the bond, and normally paired with dopamine as well, which is the rewarding hormone. So they kind of happen together. So when you're cuddling your dog, that's all, stimulating. But the difference with the dog is that it's co-evolved with us for 40,000 years, and between 25 and 40,000 years. So they've actually got neurons that detect human eyes. That's how adapted they are to us now. And of course, their attachment relationship is almost identical to, which is the relationship, for example, that we have to our children. It's called an attachment relationship. And that attachment relationship is almost identical. Certainly it is hormonally. And so, all of those same experiences you have with your children and your family, and, your whānau and friends, those same feelings that you have, towards when you have one of those special relationships. The dog's having that towards you all the time, and vice versa. So, that is actually probably the primary relationship, if you're a dog owner or a cat owner or then that's your primary relationship often, if it's your dog. And because, you're getting those little microdosing of dopamine and oxytocin all day, and that's really, really builds the bond and strengthens your relationship. And also, as I said, they can see our eyes in a special way, and I call it bond gaze in my teaching.
The bond gaze.
And bond gaze, so bond gaze is actually a physical thing that happens between mum and the kitten, or mum and the pup, and so that activates oxytocin, and that same thing happens with us. So when the dogs sit there giving you those dog eyes, looking at you, and you're melting away, that's actually stimulating those same hormones in both of you. So and they also have mirror neurons which detect our emotional state. I mean, it's an empathy monitor, that we have and they have, and some of the great apes have, dolphins, and so those mirror neurons are what help us detect what the other one's feeling.
It's amazing,
and that's very powerful through the proprioception.
So, Mark, those big, that saying of those puppy eyes. I mean, give me those puppy eyes. I mean, that's a real thing. They have evolved over those many, many years to look into our eyes and give the big brown puppy eyes. They know exactly what they're doing.
Oh, exactly. Well, and they're also neotenized and juvenilized. So those, which means that neoteny is where we select for human baby-like attributes. Same in cats. We want the big eyes and the fluffy round head and and all of those things that simulate that maternal-paternal response in us, where we, and it does. It literally activates that, and so we select for that, and that's why our animals are moving that way. In fact, the third evolution of the dog is what's happening at the moment. Is they're becoming companion animals instead of work animals, where they used to, be sheepdogs and police dogs and all different things, and that'll continue, of course. But actually, what we're selecting for is this very friendly, socialised being that can live in our urban and suburban environments.
So you're calling it the third evolution. Now they're more companion
Brian Hare
and work.
calls it that.
Who does?
Brian Hare calls it that. He's probably the top cognitive scientist that works on dogs and wolves and various other species.
Wow.
And he's saying that there's a third evolution, and meaning that, that dogs are adapting to live into our world, and we're selecting for the attributes that are compatible with our world, namely being friendly with most people and dogs and cats, and those kind of attributes. We need that friendliness attribute, which is really, there's a very good book called Survival of the Friendliest, written by this guy, and it talks about how wolves and dogs have evolved to be the friendliest, and the more friendly they get, particularly in a domestic relationship, the better chance they have of being kept. And
that's true. They know.
So they become more and more what we want them to be.
It's different, Mark. You have mentioned that we feel the dopamine, or we feel all the love, and they feel it too. It is different from, say, people do anthropomorphise animals, which is different again, isn't it?
Yes.
And that's
anthropomorphizing is when we put human feelings and attitudes, onto animal behaviour. The important, there's two aspects of that. One is that in real terms, they actually are very similar to the way we feel, those feelings, as the measures that we've managed to make allow us to see. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you can see a dog as a human. Dogs aren't humans, and when you start treating them like a human, then you start to get things like separation distress and, various other behaviour problems can develop quite easily around an over-attached relationship, for example, or an under-attached relationship. So we need a well-balanced attachment relationship formed, and they also need to have a relationship that's also attached to the site as well. So we do what we call clip station training in our work, and so we teach them that they've got a safe place wherever they go, and we just clip them up somewhere and they settle down and relax because they know that's a safe place. So that's a bond as well. So you've got to have your social specific bond, which is what you do to build your bond with your dog, and that relationship also, like the clip station situation, where you can take that with you. Same with a crate. You can take them with you and impart a sense of security and safety for the dog in that new place. So those type of tools and those type of ways is fulfilling the breadth of that attachment or that bonding relationship.